Timothy, thank you for your time. Thank you for meeting with us. We're super excited to offer a signing with you. Got a lot of interest, a lot of people ready to send their Ghostbusters posters and photographs and Star Trek photos and Beverly Hills Cop 3. That's another big one. And so, but with our group being primarily Ghostbusters, we wanted to kind of start there and kind of get a feel for how did you get connected to the film? How did you get started there?
Well, I had, as almost all actors do, a struggle to be recognized and to get an agent and get sent out and so forth. And I was in California and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I moved to Chicago and started teaching acting and started getting sent out in Chicago. Did pretty well, and I thought, if I really want to be an actor, I think I need to go to New York. So I moved to New York and got into a play and off Broadway, and got an agent, and they started sending me around, and eventually got an audition for Ghostbusters with Ivan Reitman, and there wasn't much to it. I read a few lines, but no Sigourney Weaver in the room, just me and Ivan, and it went pretty well, and they offered me the part, and so I showed up on the day at Lincoln Center, and that's a whole nother story. Would you like to hear it?
Absolutely.
Love to. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm there, and I got the mullet haircut, and I don't know how I wound up with a mullet. I never wore a mullet in my life, but I had my hair long, and I think they probably cut it in the makeup trailer, although I don't even remember that. But boy, was I young. And so they gave me the violin or whatever I'm carrying and escorted me to the door. I met Sigourney Weaver, and we rehearsed the scene. And there's Bill Murray, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Bill Murray. And, we shook hands. You used to be able to shake people's hands. It's amazing,
The good old days.
The good old days, yeah. I'm getting all these calls. Okay, anyway, so really all I remember about it is being handed that stupid Dristan nasal spray thing. I'm like, what? Is this even in the script? And they're like, no, I don't think so. But, and told to use it when the time came, and when I'm staring at them over there jealous. And so we do it, and everything is great. I mean, Ivan is a wonderful man to work with. He's so kind and supportive, and not a lot of pressure. I mean, my God, the pressure he must have been under. Because my understanding is they only got 13 months from the money men.
Yeah.
We need this by June 10th, and that's only 13 months away, which is an incredibly short time for a kind of a major special effects movie like this.
Right.
But he was, to me, and in my naivete, I guess, I would just felt right at home. Anyway, so we're doing it, and then we have a break as they're resetting the camera positions or something. And I see Bill Murray off in the distance, and up walks Dustin Hoffman.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, you have made it. Yeah. This is as good as it's ever going to get. Man, it's all downhill from here. And it turns out I was right, because I've been living in my car for the last 36 years. So that was the highlight.
You peaked early.
Yeah, I peaked.
Everyone dreams and has these big fan expectations or dreams. Are you aware of some of the fan theories around your character and how you influenced the second movie?
No, please inform me. I was not contacted about the second movie. I would. Did she have a baby or something like that?
And guess who who they theorize the father is?
Who?
The violinist. The unnamed guy with the nasal spray.
Unnamed. Well, in Germany, I did a Comic-Con or whatever it is called over there in Germany, and they called me the Stiff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Because Bill Murray says, "Who's the Stiff?"
Yeah.
So there is a name for that character.
Yeah. And your character being Sigourney Weaver's baby daddy, that actually transcends fan theory. Ivan, on a commentary track on one of the DVDs years ago, said he pictures you as Oscar's father.
Well, tell that person, that lovely person, to please call Paramount Pictures. Who I can't remember which studio produced that, and let them know.
We will make that right.
Be a good thing.
We will make that right.
Make that happen, please.
A containment unit, bringing families together.
That's
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm afraid that Sigourney and I never did get together after that.
Shame.
Yeah, but that's a whole movie in itself. How she dumps me for Bill, and
Yeah.
it's a fight,
We need to pitch it.
And I would carry my Dristan with me at all times.
How many shots of that nasal spray did you have to end up doing on that day?
I think 4.75. There was kind of ran out of juice at the end, so I'm estimating 7.5.
Right.
I mean, we did have to shoot it a few times.
Right. No nosebleeds from oversaturation there.
No, I was a little high. But no, my nose was clear, very clear. Sinuses really good.
Good.
Yeah.
The flurry aroma going on there. So.
Yeah. But what an introduction. I mean, it wasn't the exact very first professional thing I'd ever done, but it was close to it. And what a wonder, for a day's work, what a memory. And what, residual kind of things went on from doing that movie, right? I did The Hunt for Red October, had a few lines, had one that was extremely funny, one of the only funny lines in the entire movie. Of course, it's not a comedy, but never had one fan say, "Oh, you were in Hunt for Red October." There's no Hunt for Red October conventions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was good, the Ghostbusters.
Does it ever blow your mind that Ghostbusters fans are so excited about you and your one day worth of work on the film?
Yeah, it blows my mind. It's incredible. But that movie just caught lightning in a bottle. It really did. And my hat's off to Dan Aykroyd, who my understanding is he came up with the original concept and wrote out 27 pages and showed it to Ivan Reitman and Bill Murray and a bunch of people and Harold Ramis, and they all got on board and fleshed it out. And, just the magic of taking ghosts, which in the past, although there are precedents, Laurel and Hardy meet the Wolfman or whatever, where they would kind of have comedy with horror, mixed comedy and horror. But this is so new because all the other ghost movies are just so serious and frightening, and everyone is so dignified, and the scientists and the women are so terrified and all this. And this was just, a couple of, they seemed like they could have run an bug exterminator company. Who are you going to call, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so Workaday, and yet they were doing this brilliant stuff with science. And frankly, my hope is with the kind of death of science in our modern society, I'm hoping it will inspire people to revere our science,
Yeah.
to believe our scientists, and not to make up conspiracy theories about every scientist is a deep state operative or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
I hope it brings it to a new generation, and I think it will.
I agree. I agree. So switching gears slightly, like I had mentioned to you, a lot of people are excited about Beverly Hills Cop 3. And we have people getting Wonder World bucks to send in for you to sign for them. So what was it like working on that film? What is it, Ellis DeWald, that's a very different character from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like for you?
Well, it was good. It was a pretty meaty role, and that was nice. And Eddie Murphy, was very respectful and pleasant. And I was a little starstruck. I didn't really have much to say to him. His life is so different from my life. And, but that being said, cordial and friendly and, okay, Tim, if you're going to pull back and punch me this way, I'll be this way, working together on it, not fighting, blah, blah, blah. It's really not kind of my place to say, but I think he was done with the Beverly Hills franchise.
Sure. And
just kind of wanted to be done with the film and get on with his stellar Oscar-worthy performances. And so there was a little bit of maybe a little tension on the set with director and Eddie, but I completely understand. He needed to fulfill a contract to do it. And I think it turned out great, but never with me. He was lovely. He was really lovely. And John Landis, who directed it, was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's like the uncle you always wish would come to Thanksgiving. He's just so friendly and so upbeat. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Landis is one of those directors where I think of his body of work.
Yeah.
I love it. 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 It's like everything that he's done.
Yeah. He, from Animal House onward, he just, some people have got the zeitgeist of the public. They understand it. And they can craft stories that make you cry and laugh and relate. And he's got that in spades.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, I had a question. When I think about Timothy Carhart, I always, of course, you pop into my head from Ghostbusters, but also at the same time, I get a lot of memories of you from TV. Because you're on a lot of different series.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched your episode right before we started talking about these signings. I watched your episode of The X-Files. And I was like, oh, look, there he is, 2 shots.
Yeah, Virgil Incanto or something like that, the fat-sucking vampire.
Yep, you were the fat-sucking vampire forever.
I would go out with slightly obese women, and I would woo them, romance them, and then bite them and suck their fat out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a side issue was that they would die in the process.
Right. Otherwise, you could have had a real good racket going on.
I could have been in Beverly Hills plastic surgeon with my mouth alone.
So, like when you think back to your TV work, you've got so many different credits on TV, 24, X-Files, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Do you have something that sticks out for you as being, well, that was a really great experience on that show? One that you think of as a favorite, maybe?
Well, I have one that I thought it was a shame. It never went to series. It was for CBS. It was called Four Corners. I don't think you can even find it. They probably just buried it. And I played a bad guy, but man, I was in the zone for the whole thing. I mean, I was scary. I scared myself. And it was really an eye-opening thing to where I could keep up with the real movers and shakers, bad guys, Anthony Hopkins. I'm not comparing myself, but I'm just saying they're so intensely evil, in such a subtle way that I'm like, wow, yeah, that's fun. I can do that. Unfortunately, nobody saw it. So it died.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are some of the other ones? 24. Remember 24? I can't remember the name of that guy, but I was high muckety muck. Was very, very pressured. That, to me, the set, because anytime they bring on a guest star, I feel like they make an effort to welcome you, but then you are under the gun. It's so much pressure, especially on that show, because they were all kind of macho on that show, and all the way from the top down. And so I liked what I did, but it wasn't a walk in the park. It wasn't. It wasn't fun.
So you're currently working on Yellowstone?
I am. My character is no longer there as of season 3, I think. Okay. I was replaced as the Attorney General for the state of Montana as part of the whole plot thing about gaining power for Kevin Costner and his family. And so one of his sons takes over my job, and that took forever and thank God, because I got more and more episodes. From politics, he couldn't take over because Kevin didn't want him to, and then he wanted him to, and you have to see it. Yeah. It's hard to explain. So yeah, and then a couple of months passed, and of course it takes a long time at my age with my casting to get another role, and then the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So I am where I am.
We're all waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that was a good show. That Yellowstone was good. It was good to see Kevin Costner play a bad guy.
For sure.
I think he was so bad, but he had people murdered, and I don't reverse the tape. Reverse. I don't want to give anything away.
So looking back over your career, what are some of the things that you're the most proud of? When you look back, what sticks out to you? It may not be something that everyone's aware of, but you just remember with very much pride and fondness.
Yeah, well, I did a one-act play in New York. It was can I say the word DICK?
Yeah, of course.
It was called, it wasn't called this, but it was the Dick play. And maybe this is a little long-winded for your format, but I was in it, and it was a group of 4 one-acts, and we were at the end. But in the first play of the evening was Penelope Cruz, I think, who was Kevin Kline's girlfriend at the time. That's the right lady. But anyway, So Kevin Kline came to see this, and he sat through all 4 of the plays. And in my play at the very end, it's where I play a big braggart who's always bragging about the size of his stuff, his junk. Hey, I'm doing it. I'm on it. Anyway, he's bragging about the size of his stuff. Uh-oh. Did that screw you guys up?
Nope.
Something's happened on my screen here. Just a second. And so Kevin was there to see his girlfriend, and he sat through my play, and it was so much fun, bragging about the size of my unit. And it was a comedy, broad comedy, and it was just on fire, and I was so proud of it. But cut forward 3 months later, my mother's visiting me in New York. I'm living in New York. And I'm walking down the street, and from across the street comes Kevin Kline and comes up to me and says, I don't know your name, but my God, you were magnificent in that Dick play. And he walks off. And my mother goes, you know Kevin Kline? Instead of, what the hell's he talking about, a Dick play? Timothy, you never told me about the Dick play. She's like, you know that Kevin Kline? So I thought that was
That's funny. That is funny.
So I was proud of that.
That's very good.
Well,
All right.
Again, we are huge fans and super thankful that you would make time for this conversation and time to sign things for people in our group. Our goal is, as always, to help people who collect like we do to get connected to celebrities, their favorites, and get stuff that they know is real, because there's so many fake things around. And so, you're helping us out tremendously. And so thank you. Thank you for your work on Ghostbusters and Beverly Hills Cop 3 and everything else we discussed. You're one of our favorites, and we're so thankful. And we appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much. It's been fun.
Thank you, Tim. And stay safe.
Thanks for the fans. Thank you for the fans.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.